Welcome to this very special broadcast from New Alchemy Studios. Some of you may be aware of the serious dangers of having a fizzy drink while listening to some of the more colourful reviews of Haribo Sugar-Free Gummy Bears. For those of you who've not seen the public service announcement, you have been forewarned. Now, for a very special report of this crisis situation, we turn to Amazon reviews for our story. I was in New York City a few weeks ago and walking through the Canal Street section, Chinatown. Various vendors called to me, trying to entice the little voice in my head that said things like, "You need a fake Rolex," or,
"That 3-foot-tall elephant statue would look great in your bedroom."
I was stronger than the voice, however, and I was able to fend off all impulse buying urges, even for a cool pack of ninja throwing knives, which I'm sure are illegal in at least 48 states. Also, aren't ninjas Japanese? Anyway, I was doing well, not making eye contact with anyone, and weaving my way past all the authentic Chinese merchants like McDonald's. Then out of the corner of my eye, there was a glint of sunlight reflecting off the most wonderful multicolored display of treats I had ever seen. It was like the world stopped for a moment, and this 5-pound bag of heaven was calling to me. I walked over and asked the lady holding a monkey, "How much?" $25. Whoa! I told her, "No way, that was too much." She then reached down under the table and brought out a black velvet pouch of dragon-shaped ninja throwing knives and said these mystical words. "Knives, too." I don't even remember handing her the money, but the next thing I knew, I was carrying a 5-pound bag of Haribo Gummy Bears in one hand and holding my throwing knives in the other. I had about a 45-minute break to walk up to Grand Central, so I was glad to have a snack to munch on while I was walking. These gummy bears were like nothing I have ever eaten before. They effortlessly melted into puddles of liquid joy and rolled down my esophagus into my tummy, one after another. Little bear soldiers, dutifully triggering all sorts of endorphins in my brain. I was a ninja! I'd never felt so alive. It was like those guys wearing those flying squirrel suits and hurling themselves down canyons with cameras strapped to their heads. Around Houston Street, I realized I was eating these things pretty quickly, and I started to get a little sad. Would there be any left for the train ride home? I finished the bag at around 21st Street, and I still had a ways to walk. Drat. I would need to find another snack for the train ride back to Poughkeepsie. Then at around 24th Street, something weird started to happen. I felt like something was cutting the inside of my stomach to shreds. I panicked for a moment and thought maybe I'd swallowed one of my ninja dragon knives by mistake. But a quick count told me they were all still there in their little velvet pouch. Whew! But the feeling kept coming in waves, with an ever-increasing frequency. Something was really, really wrong. After walking barely another block, a cold wave of panic fell over me. My hands and feet were pins and needles, and my eyeballs felt like they were 2 sizes too small in my skull. I could literally feel my eyes rattling around in my head. My hair hurt. I could barely walk, and I was clutching my stomach with one hand and leaning on the side of a building with another. Then I realized my pants were wet and back. I had leaked. I thought the smell was coming from one of the meat stick vendors on the street, but it was the burning smell of bright orange diarrhea saturating my jeans. I threw up into my mouth. I staggered into the lobby of a building and was immediately grabbed by 2 security guards and literally thrown back out in the street. At this point, I had tunnel vision. I could feel my brain dying. I was clutching my sphincter muscles so hard I had no energy for anything else, and I collapsed into a storm drain on the sidewalk. Then I realized there was no stopping this. This evil genie that had been rubbed free from its bottle, the swivel-eyed destroyer of worlds, come to rip apart my colon and show everyone on that New York street exactly what I was made of. I don't remember if I pulled my pants down or if they just slipped off. But I ended up sitting on a storm drain and expelling every ounce of fluid in my body into its dark maw. I heard a woman scream. After what seemed like an eternity of spewing, gurgling, yellow-orange, liquefied hell juice spewing out of me, it stopped as quickly as it started. I realized I would live. My heart rate dropped below 170, and I stopped crying. The ever-moving crowds of people on the New York City street would keep going, and so would I. Then I felt the handcuffs go on. This bag of gummy bears is the perfect metaphor for the earthly wrath of God. These satanic little creatures gave me the equivalent of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in my stomach and toilet bowl. I felt an overwhelming heat coming over my body. The cramping was worse than death itself, and it felt like Satan had planted his seedlings in my colon and they had been at the site of Pompeii. My exit exploded like Satan had his schlong gone from inside me to the outside, and it was covered in little glass shards. I'm sure swallowing razor blades and waiting for the return would have been more suitable than this satanic ritual. The stain left on my carpet is still hard to explain. I cannot explain to you why I love these things. They have wronged me worse than any enemy I have ever encountered. And I love these things. The pain my innocent colon went through so that I may enjoy their gooey wonders can never be repaid. I am here to recount its tale in all the honesty I can. I recall the night. It was dark, and I was alone. Mistake 1. Drunk again and looking for something to satisfy my moderate sweet tooth. What else beckons but a bag of Haribo gummy candy gold bears from my nearby drawer, whispering to me, calling my name out in a malicious manner, like a siren calling a pirate to shore, only to rip and mangle his body like an unholy terrorist. In my stupor, I heeded their call and began consuming them voraciously. This gummy candy, in many regards, parallels hardcore addiction. For the recreational user will find himself eating a handful or less. But veterans like myself laugh heartily in the face of such novice softies. Ha 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 ha. Whole bag, or no bag. That's what Mum used to say. So there I was, wet and primitive, slamming down these little grenades 5 at a time until they were gone. Mistake 2. The alcohol had taken a heavier effect, and I fell quickly asleep in bed. Morning comes instantaneously, along with contortions as my body writhed in pain from the gummified monstrosity that had birthed itself in my intestines like the alien
and it was crushing its way out whether I liked it or not.
Mistake 3. Hold it. You can sleep a little longer without getting up to go to the bathroom, I thought to myself as I tried not to let the foul beast get the best of me and escape. I had angered the Titan, and there was no turning back now. It began forcing itself through my innards, bashing my stomach from the inside, and grinding carnage inside of my body came to a peak on my way to the toilet. It happened. All of it happened. And there was nothing in the world that could have prepared me. Like exploding molten rock on the spread wings of Satan, the beast escaped in a ferocious roar from my rectum. I cried in anguish, begging for it all to end, but to no avail. Too weakened to kill myself, I endured the horrors of my experience for hours. I will never be the same after that day. Here's to you, Haribo. These gave me Ebola. These broke my dog. What in the actual fuck just happened to my sphincter? I didn't feel the need to plan my weekend around 5 small gummy bears. But if you fail to plan, well, you plan to fail. It began with a noticeable change in the viscosity of my saliva. Within moments, my mouth had filled with a thick, foamy slime. Though I was in a cool, climate-controlled room, a salty sweat broke out, and I felt my heartbeat quicken as my body threw itself into fight or flight. The animal noises broadcasting from my pelvis were an ominous warning of the violent acts that were to follow. I shouldered my way into the bathroom, clawing at my belt, moaning with pain. The smell came first. It started sweet, almost tangy. That was quickly overpowered by a cloying chemical perfume. The first volley of feces hit the water like soda cans and nickels, the resulting splash drenching my bottom in foul, brackish water. But this was quickly becoming the least of my worries. After another moment, the noises in my core hit a fever pitch, and I was struck with a rigid pain. The sweat was now running into my eyes, but the room had turned ice cold and my hands began to spasm. I felt an insidious burning flooding my escape hatch. I gasped. Yellow hot poison began spraying from my rear, changing in pitch and echo as the stream of diarrhea whipped around the toilet bowl, creating a nightmarish Doppler effect that can only be appreciated in hindsight. My legs fell asleep while sitting on the toilet. I couldn't have stood up if I wanted to. Wiping was a no-go. Toilet paper simply became a vile paper mache. My hands were quickly soiled. A full-blown shower was needed, and all of my towels had to be burned. So happy with this purchase, would recommend to friends and family. Definitely buying again. This will be the first and last time I speak about this openly. Just last week I had purchased this product and I received it precisely 3 days ago. When I opened the packaging, I was expecting a delectable candy-coated heaven. I was correct. I had ingested the entire bag within a 5-minute time span. It was the pinnacle of all I had ever wanted in my life. The candy climax. But there is one thing you must ask yourself before throwing money out towards this product. Where will you be when diarrhea strikes? You might be thinking you could quickly vacate to the nearest restroom. You are completely and utterly wrong, my friend. The diarrhea will strike, and it will strike with fury and vengeance. It's the Gummy Bear's revenge for chewing the life out of their family and friends while they watch in the bag, cold and unknowing about what will happen to them. You might be asking how I know this. I have experienced it firsthand, my friend. I was in a meeting at my job, an average office worker. I had just been called into a meeting with my boss and some higher-ups. They discussed how they were pondering whether or not to give me this new job, a higher-paying one. They agreed to do so. But in that moment, my entire life would change in an instant. Partway through the meeting, I felt a sensation in my lower torso, a rumbling sensation, followed by a rather loud and strange sound, like the sound of mating humpback whales. Ooh, 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 ooh. It had come to my realization that it was in fact my stomach. I couldn't bear the pain which followed with every growl. Ooh, 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 ooh. Ooh, 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 ooh. Then it happened. I felt the slippery mess begin to slide out from in between my cheeks. It was coming. Gummy Bear vengeance was coming. It was then that there was an explosion of some sort from my rectum, followed by the continuous sounds of humpback whales and myself passing excessive amounts of gas. When the nuclear mishap in my trousers happened, I had looked down. My black pants had become a dark yellowish color. The wall which was behind me was coated with that wretched smelling odor and a yellow paint. But I'm sad to say it wasn't paint, but my own feces. My bosses looked to me terrified, as if I was some sort of feces distributing monster. Their faces pale and in complete shock. I stood up, walked out, and in the following day quit my job. This product, as you can obviously tell, ruined my social life. Since then I have become a hermit, wasting my days away laying in bed. I've been here so long I have molded together with the bed. We are now one. But I will go out of my way to purchase another bag of this candy-coated goodness created from the tears of the one and only Jesus Christ. I would definitely recommend this product for anyone who is a veteran of the Gummy Bear community. I give this product 5 out of 5 stars. And I am most definitely looking forward to purchasing yet another bag. There I was, just me and this bag of Haribo gummy candy. 5-pound bag. The marathon all-day eating contest was coming to a close, and I knew I had it in the bag. I smashed down handful after handful of these destructive bears into my mouth, only chewing maybe once or twice before I would swallow and allow my lips to open for more. If only my stomach knew what pain awaited. I maybe, just maybe, would have called it quits. But at last I wouldn't. It would take me only 3 minutes to eat every last bear and win the world record! Yay! However, I died soon after, and so did my pants. May you rest in peace, my blue pair, now brown pants. Be very careful. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to keep up with this and some of my other works, I'd like to encourage you to click subscribe, maybe leave a like or a comment to let me know how I'm doing. Also, if you like my art, go ahead and look down in the description below for links to my other presences in social media. If you'd like to see more of what I do and see more than just some figure drawings, speed art, and quick creepy creatures, please go ahead and look at my online galleries. Again, thank you so much for all of your support, and have a beautiful day.